Hi, friends. Today, let us explore one of the most extraordinary friendships in modern history, a friendship between two giants. One was a political leader who mobilized millions, the other was a poet philosopher who inspired millions. One was called Mahatma, the other was called Gurudev. I am speaking of Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore. Their story is not merely about friendship, it is about how intelligent, thoughtful people can disagree deeply and still respect one another profoundly. And perhaps that is a lesson our world desperately needs today. When Gandhi returned to India from South Africa in 1915, Tagore was already an international figure. He had become the first Asian Nobel laureate in literature. Tagore immediately recognized something unique in Gandhi. He began calling him Mahatma, the great soul. Gandhi responded by calling Tagore Gurudev, the revered teacher. Think about that. Before they exchanged arguments, they exchanged respect. Before disagreement came reverence. Every letter carried dignity. Every debate began with mutual regard. Yet these two men could hardly have been more different. Tagore was a poet. He celebrated beauty, imagination, creativity, and universal humanism. Gandhi was an activist. He emphasized simplicity, discipline, self restraint, and service. Tagore sought to awaken consciousness. Gandhi sought to transform society. One wrote songs, the other launched movements. One inspired through words, the other inspired through action. And because they were both original thinkers, disagreement was inevitable. One of their most famous disagreements concerned Gandhi's promotion of the spinning wheel, the charkha. For Gandhi, the charkha was not merely a tool, it symbolized self reliance, dignity of labor, and freedom from economic dependence on colonial rule. Tagore admired Gandhi's intentions, but he worried that too much emphasis on a single symbol could narrow the horizons of education and creativity. He gently questioned whether India's future could be built around spinning alone. Gandhi responded that intellectual freedom meant little to those who could not feed themselves. The debate continued. Neither convinced the other, yet neither stopped admiring the other. One delightful episode occurred at Tagore's institution, Shanti Niketan. Whenever Gandhi visited, he encouraged students and teachers to clean their surroundings and participate in manual work. Soon the campus became noticeably more organized and disciplined. Tagore observed the transformation with amusement. One can almost imagine him smiling as he watched Gandhi's influence spread through the campus. Here we see their contrasting personalities. The poet loved beauty, the Mahatma loved discipline, and each appreciated what the other brought. Another important disagreement concerned nationalism. Tagore was cautious about nationalism. He feared that excessive nationalism could become narrow and divisive. He believed that humanity must ultimately transcend boundaries. Gandhi, on the other hand, believed national awakening was necessary for India's freedom. Yet, Gandhi's nationalism was never based on hatred, and Tagore's universalism was never detached from India. They approached the same challenge from different directions. Tagore asked, how do we remain human while becoming patriotic? Gandhi spent his life attempting to answer that question through action. Their sharpest disagreement came in 1934 after the devastating Bihar earthquake. Gandhi suggested that the catastrophe could be interpreted as a moral warning against the evil of untouchability. Tagore strongly disagreed. He argued that natural disasters should not be seen as divine punishment. Such explanations, he believed, encouraged superstition. A public debate followed. The disagreement was serious. The stakes were high, yet something remarkable happened. Neither questioned the other's integrity, neither attacked the other's character. They challenged ideas, not persons. Imagine how different public discourse would be today if we followed that principle. Their disagreements never prevented personal affection. Whenever Gandhi undertook one of his difficult fasts, Tagore became deeply concerned. He admired Gandhi's moral courage, but he worried about his health. Behind the public debates stood genuine friendship. This is an important reminder. Sometimes we know people only through their arguments, but Gandhi and Tagore knew each other as human beings, and that made all the difference. One of the most touching episodes occurred when Tagore's beloved institution, Vishwabharati University, faced severe financial difficulties. Tagore had devoted his life to building it. The institution was struggling. Despite their intellectual disagreements, Gandhi immediately stepped forward to help. He supported efforts to raise funds and preserve Tagore's dream. This episode reveals the depth of their relationship. When principles were involved, they debated. When friendship called, they stood together. Gandhi once referred to Tagore as the great sentinel. A sentinel is a watchman, someone who remains alert, someone who guards what is precious. Gandhi believed Tagore stood guard over India's conscience. Even when Tagore criticized him, Gandhi valued the criticism. Because Gandhi understood something many leaders forget. A nation needs people who can question it. And Tagore, despite all his disagreements, recognized Gandhi's greatness. He understood that Gandhi had accomplished something extraordinary. He had given dignity and hope to ordinary people. Millions who had left powerless suddenly felt that their lives mattered. Tagore saw this clearly. He disagreed with some methods, but he never underestimated the moral force of the man. What makes Gandhi and Tagore so relevant today? Not that they agreed, they often did not. Not that they belonged to the same ideology, they frequently differed. What makes them relevant is that they demonstrated a higher possibility, the possibility of dialogue without hostility, criticism without contempt, conviction without hatred, respect without conformity. Let me leave you with this thought. The Mahatma and the Gurudev, the reformer and the poet, the spinning wheel and the song, one transformed India's political destiny, the other shaped its cultural and spiritual imagination. They argued, they challenged each other, they sometimes frustrated each other, yet they remained friends. And perhaps that is their greatest gift to us. Because the highest form of respect is not agreement, it is the ability to disagree without hatred. Thank you for listening.